Hi, it's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to Career Coach Office Hours. Tuesdays, I like to spend about a half hour with people taking questions about their job search. My own background is, well, frankly, I worked in recruiting for what felt like 100 years, filled a lot of positions. I've got real world practical knowledge about job search from having lived in recruiting for as long as I did. Now I coach. I don't do recruiting. And people hire me for no BS job search advice and career coaching globally because I make everything much easier for people. I'm just going to remind you, if you've got a question for me, put it into chat. I'd love to answer your questions during today's show. Again, just put your questions in chat and I'll get to it today. Also, join me at JobSearch.community and get insider access to my video courses, books, and guides, and be able to ask me questions about your search. Or as a premium member, I'll coach you throughout your search, which is completely different. It's a different experience as I get immersed in your workplace, or I should say in your job search. So again, that's jobsearch.community. Notice jobsearch.community right above me. And I'll also say, if you're here, just say hi, even if you don't have a question for me. Maybe something will pop into your mind. I'd be very happy to answer your question whenever you get to it. And if we're not already connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request to me at linkedin.com/IN/the Big Game Hunter. My network tends to be a lot larger than most of yours. I'll just simply say that's really the way to do it. Connect with me there. I release content daily as well on the site. It's not curated like I do at JobSearch.community. It's not necessarily personalized for you as I do at JobSearch.community. Okay. So I've got a question from someone who asked, how do I get a remote part-time executive position? Well, you need to look at interim roles because that's really what you're talking about is an interim executive role. There are firms that specialize in interim recruitment. Now, I don't know the type of executive that you are or have been. Uh, I don't know whether you're talking about 5 hours a week or 25 hours a week. To some degree, it makes a difference. 5 hours, it's really about your relationships and who would be interested in having access to you for a short period of time. For 25 hours or 40 hours, there are people who do hire interim leaders. I would start looking for firms, and the keyword search you start looking for is interim executives. Now, remote also makes it harder. Everything makes it harder just because the more criteria you place on yourself and on the firm or the firms that might be interested in someone like you, the harder it becomes. However, it's doable. You just have to put in the time and the effort and continue to network because networking often is the way to do this. Not applying for jobs, but utilizing people you know from your past who might be interested in someone like you to join their organization on a part time basis working remotely. So that's really the way to do it. Ravi, if you have more questions, I'd be very happy to answer. Or if you want to expand upon this question, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Thank you for stepping up and modeling this for other people. Okay. So here's one. People message me before the show because they can't necessarily make it live and they'll watch it later on to get their answers. So I have a number of those that people send to me. I just got fired. Now my former boss, the one who let me go, is asking me where some important documents are. How should I respond? Well, do you know where they are? Tell them. I would also say, when I left, I left them in this place. I don't know what might have happened to them since, but when I left, they were located here. What anyone else might have done with them, I have no way of knowing. But when I walked out the door that last time, this is where I know they were. And if they're not there, you might also try in this place, because that's sometimes a place I might leave them. And, on the day I left, it was kind of nerve wracking. So those are the two places I might normally have left them. And if they aren't there, I have no idea where they might be. And that's the way I would approach it. Basically, put it back to them, letting them know where they were when you left, the two possible places or the one possible place, whatever it is. And then from there, uh, letting them know what happened after that. I have no way of knowing, but this is where they were. Now, why do I say respond, even though they fired you? Well, references. Maybe like when it comes time to giving a reference, there's mercy that's shown versus, yeah, I fired them. I was annoyed at their performance. They didn't really give their best. I always had to ride them. And not only that, when she or he left, I called them because I needed something that was on their desk previously or that I had assigned to them, and they didn't call me back. Tell me how good that is. So I would respond, and I would respond in a manner like I did, and I'll just simply say that's how I would handle a question like that. Okay. What are the top 5 things that executives do to improve their resume? Um, Let me just simply say, I put up the wrong question previously. I apologize. So the top 5 things that I would do. Oh, I put it up earlier. Let me back up for a second and come back to Ravi. I'm looking for remote sales management positions. Thank you for your guidance. You're very welcome, Ravi. Um, and in sales management, it's going to be particularly hard because they want to have someone who could sit on their people. And thus, you're more likely to get this role through networking than applying. And there are firms that specialize, search firms that specialize in interim executives. So, really, I think the advice I'm giving you in the first answer is valid here. Go ahead, keep networking with people you know from your past who might know of opportunities for you to step in on an interim basis. It's not going to be a permanent part-time remote sales position because people like to have accountability for the individuals that they hire. And when you're part-time, remote, and in sales, those are 3 non-ideal situations. And I know that. Um, you've led sales functions previously, I assume, and thus it's not the optimal situation. So they might bring you in for 3 months, 6 months, while they look for an experienced senior leader who will work for them, either on a hybrid basis or, certainly in-house, but give it a shot. And you got to grind at this. It's not just simply, I'm going to talk to 2 people and I'm done, or I'm going to send 3 resumes out and I'm done. You got to grind at this. You got to push to constantly maintain relationships, network, follow up, talk to people, especially at firms you'd like to be associated with, or reading the news and see firms that are struggling and contacting very senior leadership and seeing if there's a place where you could be an advisor to their existing sales leader, a confidant for them, and consult around sales leadership to them, especially if they're having trouble selling product. That's another way to think of it. Okay? Hope that's helpful. And for you or anyone else, don't hesitate to put more questions into chat. I'd love to answer it. So, back to this one. What are the top 5 things that executives can do to improve their resumes? Well, there's really only one, and it's the most important one. And that is to demonstrate a fit from your previous experience for the role that's being filled, and not just simply sending generic resumes out and expecting that firms are going to want to talk to you. That rarely works. So, your job is to demonstrate a fit for a role that they have. And thus, unless you do that, often what happens is it's little more than spam. So, um, that's always the number one thing that anyone can do, whether you're an executive or a member of staff, is show how you've had an impact on an organization in the ways that they need you to have an impact on their organization. Connect the dots for them in your resume so that in the interview you can confirm what your previous experiences have been like and thus be able to show how you can help their organization. By the way, I'm just going to take a quick look over at LinkedIn because often the questions from LinkedIn don't really work their way over to where I normally do this show on StreamYard, and I'm not seeing anything on LinkedIn. So I come back to StreamYard and just want to say, focus on that one because it's really the most important thing that you can do is to make sure your resume demonstrates a fit for what it is that they're looking for. And we've got another question. What are my thoughts on leaving larger, older firms like Big Four for smaller, still large 10 billion plus in valuation for a higher role, better career progression pre-IPO? Obviously, there's lots of details in there, but I think of the older legacy firms, they tend to do staff cuts. They have profitability issues, and normally they do it on people's backs. Now, I don't know what level you're at because that may make a difference. I'm assuming you're not partner with this firm. Maybe you're a senior manager, maybe you're an associate. I don't know. But ultimately, it comes down to, do you trust the people at the new firm more than you trust the ones at your existing firm? Because to me, as we go into 2024, as I record this, I've been concerned about the economy for more than a year. And if you're on LinkedIn, one thing should be painfully obvious is there are lots, and it's confirmed, he's not a partner, he's at an associate director level. Gotcha. So the thing that should be obvious to you is that college educated LinkedIn users are getting killed. They're getting wiped out in this economy. And when I read the jobs reports, the jobs that are being created, let me just use the example of the October 2023 report. These are the jobs that were created: 58,000 in healthcare. By the way, there was only 150,000 jobs created. So 58,000 in healthcare, 51,000 in government, so we're at 110,000 there. And then add another 20 some odd thousand for social services, which to me is government funded. So those are the three main categories that are being filled right now. And when I look at healthcare, well, whether you think of insurance or health insurance as government funded, make that your decision. But ultimately, I worry in this economy about further staff cuts and how people are positioned. Now, John Tube 2K, I'll encourage you, be clear about their financials, ask about profitability, um, and thus be in the position that you're clear about what you're stepping into, what the role is, what your responsibilities will be, how they're going to measure success for you, what profits are like. Because again, you mentioned that this is not a public firm, it's pre IPO. You want to be clear about what you're stepping into. Do they expect you to sell at this level, to bring in business? Is that something you're comfortable doing? If not, will they mentor you? Will they get you coaching around? So there's more information that you may need to get in order to be clear whether this is the right choice for you. Leading the legacy firm, no issue whatsoever. All of them are going to do staff cuts because that's what they do. They've done this every time there's a recession, and you know, at the time you leave, you can sit down with the partner that you report to and say to he or she, I've received another offer and I'm tempted to take it, but before committing, I'd like to have a conversation with you about where you see my opportunities here and what you see the next year to be like for the firm. And don't just listen to what they say, but how they say it. Are they believable? Do they sound like or act like they're blowing smoke up your you know where? You're a bright guy. You've gotten to an associate director level at this firm, and not an pay attention to signals that are given, and then make the official decision about what to do. So I have no issue about you leaving a legacy firm and joining more of an upstart. Notice the air quotes around upstart. So that in this way, um, you can protect yourself, but you may need more information from the firm that may be hiring you. You may want to talk with the existing partner that you interact with to get clear so that you're comfortable making or staying. Either way, remember, I don't have a vested interest in what you decide to do. I just want to give you the best information I can based upon my experience in search, which I did for more than 4 years, filled more than 1,200 positions, plus consulting assignments. Um, no, I hope that's helpful to you. And if you have a follow up, don't hesitate to ask. And for anyone else who's joined along the way, if you've got a question for me, feel free to put it into chat. I'll get to it today so that in this way you can get some advice that will be of service to you. Also, remember JobSearch.community. I've got free information on the homepage, video courses or videos, books, a few guides, things that will help you with your search. Those are completely free. If you become an insider member, you get all the rest of my video courses, books, and guides, and there's a list of them on the homepage. Also, you have the ability to ask me questions, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours at the latest. As an insider plus member, you can also get me on Zoom calls a couple of times a month and have me speak with you directly. And as a premium member, we do one-on-one or group coaching. And there's a follow-up here, and that is thanks. Yes, our firm are ready to do reductions in force this year, and I'm on the IT side, not the sell side. The other side of the company is a fintech company that does stock trades. Company does 200 billion trades. Gotcha. I'll just simply say, yeah, you probably know the financials in the current organization well. And being on the IT side, well, often what happens as we get deeper into recessions is they start looking at their back office operations and look at ways to reduce costs. So you're not immune to a staff. Like I said, before committing to anything, you might want to just chat with the partner or your ultimate boss and simply say, I'm a little concerned about our circumstances. Uh, I've been approached, and frankly, I have an offer from another firm I haven't committed to yet. I want to talk with you about what you see the future like, being like for me, this organization, for you, because I trust you. And then again, listen to what they say, how they say it, and what they don't say, because that can wind up being just as informative as anything else you on to TPA. I hope that's helpful to you. And again, if you want to consult with me, um, take me up on a month with JobSearch.community. It's $49. I made this very inexpensive as a way of helping people during the time of need. So $49 a month or $79 a month to get access to me to have questions answered. And then again, if you want coaching, that's 1,000 for 3 hours of time per month for individual or group coaching. I want. So this was a fun question. What do you think about saying in a job interview that you can wear many hats, like when you apply for a role, but you notice that you also have skills for another role? Um, Again, a question that was sent to me in advance. So most people think of a jack of all trades in a negative term, unless they're looking for someone who's like a utility player who can do lots of different things. So, for the first part of the question, which is about when you apply for the role that you can wear many hats, well, pay attention to what the role is defined as being. And if it's defined as being specific for specific skills, emphasize that. Don't just simply say, I can wear many hats, but I could really do this because they won't believe you. So, in situations where they want someone specific, give them what they want. If they then follow up and say, "What about this? Can you do this?" "Sure. This is an organization. I did this and that." You're very matter of fact about it, not anxious, because anxious makes them nervous, and that's one thing you never wanna do. So, I'll just simply say, I wouldn't approach it that way at the time you apply. Um, I would just emphasize the things that matter to them, because that's really what they wanna get the answer to. Can you do this particular job? Do you have the skills to do this particular et cetera, et cetera. So, um, not the way I would approach it, okay? I've got more questions, and if you've got a question for me, feel free to put it in the chat so I can help you. Uh, what is STAR, and what has it got to do with your resume? I tend to go for your interview. STAR action result. If you're gonna deep into your resume, when you talk about the work you've done, follow this framework and outline the role of responsibility on a specific project, on a specific task or function within the organization. And the result, by the way, should be a metric, which includes money saved, money earned, percentage improvement over what was previously there, so that in this way, what you're able to do is demonstrate your in project, on a role, tasks, things along those lines, so that in this way, um, you're you're telling people and giving them a context for what you've done. Now, again, like I said to start off with, I tend to think of STAR as being a way of telling a story during an interview, and in the interview, it's a way of answering behavioral interview questions. Tell me about a time when you, or walk me through a situation where you. That's what a behavioral interview question is. That's where STAR is a good format, particularly if you're at a staff. Normally, when I talk to more experienced people, I'll suggest SOAR, SOAR, situation obstacle, which could also be a challenge. That's another way of doing that same acronym. Situation, challenge, action, result, SCAR. Or sometimes people use CAR, challenge, action, result. But these are different frameworks. STAR is classic. So Uh, when they do a behavioral interview question, that's really the time you want to bring these into the equation and answer the question. Um, let's go to the next question, please. Okay. Are two companies, there we go, that are using the exact same wording a sign the postings are some kind of scam? I don't know what these companies are. Let's work with the assumption of a search firm, uh, two search firms using the exact same wording for a job description. What it means is you got a job description from a client, but there's a little lazy and did nothing to change the language of the job description. Posted as an ad, and two firms are doing the same. Okay. Now, let's say it's two full-time employers. One might have cannibalized the other for a similar role and decided, they did some nice work on this. I'm just going to use their job description. That doesn't happen all that often. Normally, it's two search firms that are doing that, and they've taken the lazy route out for how to post these positions so that they get results that fit a particular job. Following up to that is getting text versus emails a, s- a sign of a scam? No, it's a sign that they're anxious to get in touch with you because they know that the data supports the idea that people respond to texts much more quickly and they respond to them more than they do emails. Emails, there's a delay because people are not sitting with their emails open, uh, their personal emails open to respond. So is getting a text versus an email a sign of a scam? No. And if you don't know who it is, go to their LinkedIn profile, say hi, and you can say, "Hi, my name is Jody from such and such firm," uh, and you go to that firm's LinkedIn page and look for a Jody, or do a search on LinkedIn for the company name and the first name of Jody. Find them. So you, number one, you can confirm that they really exist since you're concerned about a scam. And once you have them, you'll have a sense of what the background. Are they the rookie recruiter or the rookie sourcer? Sourcer is a person who identifies talent. They don't fill the positions. They don't have the relationship with the institutional customer. They are a party who finds candidates to fill jobs. So, are they a beginner or an experienced person? That should tell you something. But text versus email, no, it's not a signal of a scam. Uh, oh, this one I thought was fun. I'm going to do this one, and unless someone puts another question in the chat, I'm going to end the show because I try and go for about a half hour, and that's where I'll be at that point. So, um, again, if you've got a question for me, put it in the chat. Happy to. So this one is how do recruiters recognize ChatGPT cover letters? Well, there's a couple of different ways that they do it. They're generic or have hallucination content in them. They may include generic phrases or small wording that stands out from something that's human. You may have inconsistent or inaccurate information. There's nothing personalized. They take an unnatural tone. Sometimes ChatGPT is going to generate repetitive language. So those are five different ways that a recruiter can spot it. And those are the five basics. So I'll just simply say, you know, before you send out a generic cover letter, a ChatGPT cover letter, make it yours. Change some of the language. Run it through undetectable, which is designed to identify AI generated content. See if it spots what this is AI, and that should tell you a lot. So I'll ask one more time. If you've got a question for me, put it into chat so I can help you. Don't have a question for me? Don't sweat it. I'll be back next Tuesday. I also want to mention 2 weeks from today, I'm not gonna be doing a show. It's Thanksgiving week in the United States. My wife and I are gonna be heading to the New York area to visit our son and my wife's family. We're gonna spend some time up there, but I'll be back for the following Tuesday's show. I'm Jeff Altman. I hope you found today's show helpful. If you've got questions for me, you can always message me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/IN/dot game hunter. And I'll, I'll bring up your question, on the next show. I'll also mention that if you want a more immediate response, go to JobSearch.community and become an insider member. It's $49. It's cheaper than what I used to charge for 20 minutes of live Q&A with just because I'm trying to help more people. So again, jobsearch.community. They're free video courses, books, and guides on the homepage. As a $49 member, you get all my other video courses, books, and guides. Plus, you can ask me questions that I'll respond to. It's $79. In addition to all of that, you can get me on people's calls per month, so I can help you even more. And for 1,000 a month, I coach you. Also, want to mention, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/the big game. My network tends to be a lot larger than most of yours, so it gives me a way of helping you and helping more people. Hope you have a terrific day, and most importantly, join me next week, Tuesday. That's going to be the 14th at noon Eastern time. Be great. Take care.